Well, there's a warning. Blackouts could be coming to your house this summer. A nonprofit Washington group that monitors our country's electric system says the lights could be going off in blackouts and brownouts across the country because our country's electric grid, well, not in great shape. Dozens of states now at high risk, they say, for outages, also in large part because of green energy policies and our increased reliance on renewable energy sources. So how bad could it get? Daniel Turner joins us. He's CEO of the advocacy group Power, the future that looks at all these electric issues. Are we going to be turning off the lights this summer?
A lot of the country is, without a doubt. And you just have to look at last summer. You had states like California, and I get it. It's easy to dunk on Gavin Newsom, who pushes the green agenda. But you also had states like Texas telling their constituents, don't do laundry after the afternoon. Don't plug in your electric vehicles. And these messages are not normal. And the reason why is because both of these states, to show this is bipartisan stupidity, both of these states are pushing wind and solar faster than the technology allows it. And so in the 21st century America, we are telling our constituents to not live the full abundance of American life because we're chasing this climate change hysteria.
Daniel, walk us through how it works. We're so used to turning on the lights, turning on the dishwasher. There's coal, there's gas, oil, this sort of thing, also wind, as we know, and solar. This problem basically will be Ohio to the west. New England, Mid-Atlantic, pretty much okay this summer, we're told. What's the situation in the rest of the country and in Texas and the South?
Yeah, and it really depends by region. I'm originally from the great state of New York. The previous governor shut down nuclear plants, shut down coal plants. Texas is aggressively trying to shut down coal plants as well. And so our grid, the power of our grid is definitely regional. And you have a lot of municipalities making very bad decisions. And look, wind and solar, let's just be honest. The sun does not shine half the day. It's called nighttime. And the wind does not blow most of the time. So even at their best, they are only 30–40% efficient. So what's the backup? The backup is fossil fuels, but we have an administration that has a very aggressive war on fossil fuels. And so you can't have it both ways, right? We have got this administration saying no more gas stoves, no more gas cars, no more gas hot water heaters. So you can't drive everyone to the electric grid and then withhold the actual power that makes the electric grid work without having a total catastrophe.
Well, they backed away, from some of that stuff about the gas. In New York, they're not banning the gas stoves, for example. But you do raise a point. Have we reached are we at a sophisticated, capable point where we can marry the clean energy and the traditional energy together to prevent these blackouts or brownouts?
No, and the reason why is not because of just my position, but because of what history has told us. All we need to look at are states and countries that have done this faster than the general America has, and we've seen nothing but failure. Germany, the best example. Germany had to put price caps because their electricity was so expensive that it was bankrupting the country. So they just capped it, and now the government pays the excess. But they're still struggling to keep the lights on in Germany. And again, look at states like California, look at states like Texas. So any state or any country that has tried to go green faster than the technology allows has gone either total financial catastrophe or their electric grid falters. So, yeah, show me where it works and I'll embrace it. But anywhere where it's been tried, it's been a failure. And you would think the Biden administration would realize that. And
can you explain something which I don't understand? I understand the move to electric cars. And you go to the shopping mall and you see they're plugged in and all of that. But don't electric cars stress the electric grid? Doesn't it take oil and gas to, which they don't want, and carbon pollution to make the electricity for the electric car?
Absolutely. Not just to charge the electric car, but to make the electric car. The components in the electric vehicle, the components in lithium batteries, the cobalt, the gold, nickel, copper, the mining that is required to make an electric car. There has been studies done that show that an EV actually does more environmental damage than the combustion engine. So this myth that somehow it's green is really just something we're fooling ourselves with. And you can say the same about wind and solar. People say, well, they're green, but they are made with fossil fuels. In fact, they are made with more fossil fuels than if we just burned those fossil fuels directly to make electricity. So it's all a shell game that the administration is playing with us because they're trying to chase this green dream. And look what's happening with the BRIC nations, right? The G7 just met. The BRIC nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, their economy's bigger, and they are avoiding this entire conversation, and that's why their economy is growing.
You know what we can do? Turn off the light when you leave a room. Let's start. That's what my parents always yelled at me when I was a kid. They said, turn the light off. So turn the light off when you leave the room. That could start. Daniel Turner of the energy advocacy group Power of the Future. Thank you. Please, folks, for this summer, just turn the light off when you leave the room. More Fox News when we come back.